It is highly recommended that before viewing this production, you should properly tune your brainwave frequency by shifting into alpha and theta levels. This will adjust the neurosynaptic balance of dopamine and serotonin, increase the firing of neurons, and dilate and sharpen your external optical and oral receptors, thus ensuring optimum sensory perception. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
My first movie I did in Hollywood was a movie was supposed to call Murder Without Tears. And the picture was held back for various reasons. I really don't know why. Probably script problems, money problems. It was going to be made by Monogram Pictures. And I love Monogram. Monogram was going to make this film, Murder Without Tears. So I had this agent, I forget his name. Well, Brandy. His name was Bob Brandeis. He's dead by now, you know. So he was my agent for a while. I had my SAG card, Screen Actor Guild. And I says to Bob Brandeis, I says, this picture's being held back, you know, being delayed, you know. I said, can you get me in something else in a Monogram picture? He says, he tried to get me, he did. He got me in a picture called Jalopy, with Leo Gorcey to star, Hunts Hall. There were Dead End Kids. Originally, they were Dead End Kids by Warner Brothers. As they got older, with Monogram, they were called the Bowery Boys. They were older people, Leo Gorcey and Hunts Hall. They were older. And I got to do a bit part in that film, Jalopy. And it was directed by William Bodine. And he always called Bill One Shot Bill. He did one shot, and it had to be done in one take, and that was it. Bill Bodine. On top of it, I enjoyed the movie serials. Dick Tracy, Captain Marvel. I loved the movie serials. You know, cliffhangers. They were excellent. And I got to know a guy was the king of Hollywood. His name was Eddie Polo, the days of Pearl White. Eddie Polo was for Universal Pictures. He made about 30 pictures for them, 30 movie serials. Broken Coin, Vanishing Dagger, and he did a whole bunch of them. And Eddie Polo and I became very good friends. He used to come to my place with Ruthie, my ex-wife, who just died recently. And he would, because he lived in Europe, he lived in Germany, different parts around the country. Because after they quit making movie serials, it kind of dried up in the late 30s. I meant to say late 20s. In the 30s, they weren't making that many more serials, actually. They're making less. So Carl Laemmle, who was the producer of and the owner of Universal Studios, and he talked to Eddie. He said, Eddie says, we're doing less movie serials. We're doing less now. And so he said, why don't you go to Berlin? I have a studio there, and you can run the studio for me. So Eddie left Hollywood to go to Berlin, Germany. And he was in control of the studio in Berlin until Adolf Hitler took over. And Hitler marched in with his Gestapos, and he took everything away from everybody. Whatever you had, they took it away from you. Remember that name, Eddie Polo. What a great guy. I had no intentions working as an actor. I didn't want to be an actor. So listen, to get a job, and I got paid for it, and I met many, many wonderful celebrities. I mean, how can I say no? But I tell you, I learned the business the hard way. Not really the hard way. It was easy. I was a kid off the street, like a prize fighter. You know, you're a guy off the street, become a prize fighter, no training, just go out there, do a lot of slugging, you know, knock out the other guy. And that's what I did. They put me in films, and I told the guys, no training as an actor, but they wanted to keep using me. After picture after film, I did 200 films in Hollywood. But it was for Edward D. Wood Jr. We became buddies, really friends, since 1948, up until the time the poor guy died. Of course, I did other films with Ed Wood. I did Glen or Glenda, 1952, a picture, Glen or Glenda, based on Christine Jorgensen. The guy that wanted to become a woman. But they wanted him to be in the film, but he wanted too much money, you know. So Eddie Wood played the role. And that was that first film for George Weiss. And these pictures were made, mainly shown in burlesque theaters, where burlesque would play an hour, hour and a half, and they would show a movie. And those movies had to be in 60 minutes, not over 60 minutes. But went over, they would have recut it. So that was our first film for Ed Wood. Well, you know, I've done it all. My latest one is called Misfit Patrol, which I was starring in with Vernon Wells, who appeared in Mad Max and Road Warrior. It's good business for people that make these films, like Plan 9 from Outer Space. The original title is called Grave Robbers from Outer Space, starring Bela Lugosi, Tom Keene, who was a major star for DeMille and the silent pictures, Tom Keene. And we got Lyle Talbot, who was a major star, big star on Broadway, Lyle Talbot, who worked in hundreds and hundreds of films. And Vampira, and of course my personal friend, Tor Johnson, the Swedish angel from Sweden. They're too expensive. When you do something on a small scale, you know, more creative work, see? But these big guys with big bucks, you know, they made a film and say, well, this one particular film made tons of money, and no doubt this will make lots of money. And they get fooled, and it doesn't make that much money, because the repeats are usually bad. You know, be more original. That's what I think, you know. Like I made my little films, independent stuff. Jen Gao, The Beast from the East, and Gypsy Vampire. I made around 6 movies on the East Coast since I left Hollywood, you know. And now I'm a movie director. What else am I? What else?